fucking slow fucking computer, fucking piece of shit. Yeah, that's it. All right.
You're the worst. Do you have a link for me? Or I'll just find one.
Here, I got you right here.
Oh.
I'm putting it in the show notes right now. If my fucking computer didn't fucking suck. All right. There we go. All right, and I didn't have an ad for it, so but you should probably just go ahead and cue it up. Fuck, I died. All right, so if I say shit, I died. All right, I'm ready. Can you go from that? So you just hit that button. As soon as you hit that button, switch over and to you know, I'll try to buy you. I'll try to, you know what I mean? Like I'll try to draw it out. I'll be like, shit, I died. All right, let's do the show. Is that enough time?
Let me get everything properly set up here.
Okay,
that.
I'm gonna get some water real fast.
Okay. That's the sound of Bill getting water. Sorry we didn't really have a pre-show today. Everything got sort of crazy. What I need to do is turn off autoplay on this. If that's what we can do. Okay.
What?
Nice.
Oh shit! I died.
Yeah. If we do, because I just realized I can turn off freaking autoplay in YouTube, which will be fine.
Should I go get a controller so I can do this?
Sure, do it. Do it.
Right. We got Otto. No, you can't come up on my lap. He's trying to crawl up on my lap right now. Watch.
I wish you could name the dog.
Oh, you can't name the dog? I didn't even try.
No. Well, I don't know how. I mean, maybe. I mean, I could probably use a console command to do it since I'm on PC.
No, don't get up. He's literally trying to crawl onto my lap right now. You're too big to crawl onto my lap. You can't even do it. Get down. Okay, come on. Good boy. Look at my new controller. Check it out.
Ooh, sexy. What's that for? What's that for?
For my PlayStation.
Well, obviously it's for your PlayStation, but what'd you get it for? It's all glowy.
Because my other one, the right trigger on it stopped working.
Oh.
Okay, can you still see me?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I think it'd be acceptable too if we did this in a couple of different takes if we need to.
Okay.
All right. I will put that down there. Put that up there. I've got that right there.
Do we have any nonsense news?
I put that LED in your skin thing in nonsense. Because that's
okay.
fucking stupid.
It is pretty stupid. Oh, man.
And then game time is all Fallout, and then we got I don't really have anything in did we put anything in entertainment?
I did. I put Alan Tucson in entertainment.
And top
We
5.
got that in top 5.
Nice. All right, so this.
And
this
I can
looks
talk
like
about. I saw Spectre, so I could talk about that.
Oh, good. Okay. So this Looks like this is a properly loaded show then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also need my alt tabs to be in the right order. Okay. Alright, I'm ready for this. Ready.
And one second. God. Okay. Alright, I'm ready.
Alright. 9 minutes. 3, 2,
Do not, my friends, become addicted to water. It will take hold of you, and you will resent its absence.
Shake hands, let's have a good fight.
All right, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man. You need an interpreter? It's time to go to school.
You will lose.
I want you so hard, I want you so good. You give it to me as you know you could. I'm rather talking than they're telling you.
Don't waste your time, cause the boy's bad news.
I'm rather talking than they're telling you. Just leave it alone.
Hey, Bill.
Cause the boy's bad news.
What?
I want you so hard,
Bill.
I want you so good.
What?
Dude, we gotta do a show.
I'm busy. Playing Fallout.
People want to know what it's like, dude. We gotta do a show. Come on.
I am trying to kill this guy. Oh shit, I died. Alright, let's do the show.
1, 2, ready, go. I hope you keep a picture of me in your mind.
Welcome back to the end of the third podcast, your source for news, nonsense, and entertainment in the Great Northwest. It is Saturday, November 14th, 2015. I'm Sean, that's Bill.
Hey,
How's it going? Sorry
it's going.
to drag you away from your thing. I know it's sort of soul consuming.
Yeah, it was weird. I've been playing Fallout and but for some reason it's got Pac-Man noise.
that's that mod you downloaded. Yeah, it's
the mod for my PS4.
Yeah, it replaces
They have
all
so
the
many of those.
replaces all the in-game sounds with retro gaming noises.
Right.
Well, it is November 14th. It was a bit of a dark, sad, awful day yesterday.
Yeah. Well, you know, yes, it was.
129 is the tally.
It's, at the moment, there are at least, there are about 100 of them that are critically injured, so that number is expected to rise, and usually does in these kind of situations.
Are we gonna talk? Are we gonna talk? Yeah, we're gonna talk about it in news. But
Yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about it in news. So let's get to it then.
I guess,
we'll just leave it behind once we're done with it.
I mean, you hear about stuff like that sort of terrible, just inexplicable violence and awful things like that, and we're thinking of you, and good luck to everybody involved. We're
And
sorry.
on the bright side, at least we're not talking about fucking college campuses and Missoula, University of Missoula.
Yeah,
Or University of Missouri.
God.
Missoula?
Yeah, Montana's really.
There are no black people.
Missouri. There's not actually that many black people in the University of
No,
Missouri either.
there's-
That's.
I think it only makes up like 12% of their student population or something like that.
No, I was reading some of the stories and the accounts of the flagrant racism and awful things that just go down in the middle of the day. on
Yeah.
that campus. Like I can't imagine. I can't imagine my time at WSU. I can't imagine that sort of thing just in broad daylight.
Yeah, well, one of the things one of the stories I came across that I found kind of compelling was they were talking about they kind of interviewed a bunch of black people on campuses across the country, and they were saying, it's not the overt, real obvious racism that really gets you down. It's the day to day little things that are still pervasive that kind of wear on you over time. Like one of them was just talking about like she went in and sat down in this classroom and somebody like 2 seats over got up and moved farther away. And it's like, do we know that was absolutely about racism? No, not necessarily, but when it's sitting there in the back of your mind, it's hard not to wonder.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and when that sort of stuff happens all day long, or throughout your week, I can imagine that wearing a person down
yeah.
to the point of being fed up at some point.
Still though, that teacher sucks. I'm
True
sure
that.
everybody's seen that video by now, and
Yeah.
as a journalist, that just like that. I tell you what though, that kid, he's got a job waiting for him. Already.
Well, we have a fairly loaded show, and there's going to be some
Loaded with Fallout stuff.
loaded with Fallout stuff.
Other than the Paris thing, the only thing we're going to talk about is Fallout. So be prepared for that, everyone.
Well, I don't think the listeners of our show would have it any other way. But
No, it's absolutely. This is the biggest thing that's happened in gaming ever.
I don't know about ever, but we do have some
No,
statistics to share when we get down to game time, so that'll be fun. But first, some list music. I'm a bit of a Fallout noob.
Yeah, I've missed that just from the messages you've been sending me. It's like, oh, I wasted all my ammo from the minigun.
When I first got the minigun,
Raiders. What an idiot.
I did shoot all the ammo out of it.
Did you kill the Death Stalker first?
No, that's what I was telling you. Is like I spent all my ammo in a murder rage. And
were
then
you never able to kill the Death Stalker?
Yeah, well, I died and tried it again. I got it on like the third time.
You had ammo again.
Yeah. I was at one point killed by a mole rat. Turrets ruined me.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. No, it's
turrets suck. Turrets. I finally died. It took me 2 days to finally die. And I got taken out by a turret.
Jeez. No, and I mean, like I said, I'm barely into anything because I've been doing lots of other stuff.
Please, you're like hours and hours ahead of me.
I am.
already.
I'm not. That's the thing is that like I feel like I should be, but I'm not. I've only.
No, you are. I'm pretty sure you are because just from the messages you've been sending me, you've been ahead of me consistently since we started.
I'm through the tutorial and I'm into one dungeon. That's all I've done. It's sad. I don't know. It's partly because I'm no good and partly because I keep having to do real world things like baby stuff and design stuff, and I just want to play games. I just want to play games.
That's all I want to do.
I want to set Audrey on my lap and
teach her
how to play video games. I can't wait for that day. She can't really walk though yet, so I mean she's barely standing on her own. I don't know if she has the manual dexterity to operate a controller. All right, so these are 15 things I wish I'd known before I started because I'm a noob. Yeah. There's the intro. Okay. First, number 1. Don't just survive. Thrive. Hey, candy crafting. Crafting has been expanded massively in Fallout 4, as well as the potential for taking up hours and hours of your time as you tinker and experiment with literally thousands of different options.
Yeah, like from everything from changing the way your gun, a variety of different things you can change on your gun or on your knife or your armor or whatever, to building a house. Have you built a house yet?
No.
I built a shelter. I didn't really build a house, but I built a shelter.
No, I built a spotlight and got power to it, and then I decided I needed to not do this anymore and probably should go to bed. But but it is ridiculous. You can change. You can take a handgun, a 10mm handgun, change the stock on it, turn it into a rifle, put a scope on it, and an extended barrel, and suddenly it's a sniper rifle, a 10mm glow-sighted sniper rifle. It's ridiculous how you can take one thing and make it totally different based on your need, and you don't have to spend hours and hours leveling up. See, that was the thing. If you wanted to be a good blacksmith or something in Skyrim, you had to spend days
Forever
of your life
learning how to do
leveling up to.
This you start off with everything.
Yeah,
You can just make
well,
anything.
well, not everything. There
Almost.
are certain there's some higher level things that you have to get, but most of the basics are already there. You just have to get the materials for it.
And the basics get you a long way.
Long
which is
ways.
really cool.
Yes, they do.
Number 2, I already mentioned this a little bit. Have we mentioned, by the way, that this was from GamesRadar.com?
Yeah, well, there was a PC World list that I don't like PC World, so I switched it out for a Games Radar one.
Crafting bigger projects. There are some things about Fallout 4's crafting that are a little obtuse. So you can pick up a lot of stuff like tin cans, glue, lamps during your travels, but not other things like tires or sinks. Those precious items can only be harvested when you're in an area close to a workbench, like the Red Rocket gas station or the town of Sanctuary. Enter workbench mode. Then this is the part of the game that the game doesn't mention. Walk away from the workbench to start wandering around and scrapping everything you can see. Yeah. I mean, you can scrap trees, cars, pylons, street lamps, mailboxes, ruined an entire house.
Yeah. If the roof's caved in, you can scrap the whole house.
Yeah. And you can get all that stuff and use it to build other stuff. Which is super cool.
Yeah, and it was not super well explained. That I haven't had any trouble except for that part, figuring out how to.
The other part I had to figure out on my own was when you do build your own structure, and then you want to put like a bed inside it, or a table, or chair, or whatever. Go outside, select the chair thing or whatever it is that you want to build, and then walk back inside and put it in. Because if you try to do it inside the shelter, you'll wind up picking up the shelter and moving it around by accident. So that's a little pro tip from.
Pro tip.
Me.
Nice. Number 3, make the most of your modding. Modding your weapons and armor is just one part of crafting. There's a fantastic and time-consuming way to keep your guns keep your guns up to scratch. I don't know what that means. Actually, I don't know if it's a typo. Against your tougher foes, you can tweak your guns fit other purposes. I talked about this. Adding scopes to pistols or attaching scattered barrels to laser rifles. So yeah, don't be afraid to mess your thing because it's not permanent either.
Yeah, you can undo it. And another thing that's interesting about this Fallout is that I haven't noticed that your weapons degrade over time. That you gotta
Thank
repair
God.
them.
That was miserable. I hated that.
I mean, it did seem to wear on your weapons a lot more than they would wear on them in real life, which I found irritating. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be an issue in this one at all. So I'm cool with that. What's next? Choose the right companion for the job and manage them carefully. I've only been using the dog so far. Haven't gotten more complicated than that. But
I don't know if I've met any others.
Well, you've met your Codsworth, right?
Right, he'll go
Robot?
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the robot will go with you. Right.
Sanctuary. There are several companions in Fallout 4, each with their own interesting and fleshed out personalities and backstories, and tons of different dialogue options for you to discover. The most faithful companion is your canine Dogmeat, who's same name as the original, by the way. Who's great for searching for abandoned buildings for good treasure, and your robot butler Codsworth, who is not only hilarious, he's not hilarious, but he's pretty decent in battle and really rather durable. You can talk to them, find out about their backstory, except for the dog, obviously, and even unlock unique companion quests when you reach certain affinities with them. It can be difficult to keep track of where they are, though. The game doesn't have a companion screen to see exactly where they're at.
Codsworth doesn't like it when I give drugs to the old lady.
What's that?
The old lady you meet, the Mama Murphy,
Yeah.
and she's always wanting you to go get chems for her. And if you do that while Codsworth is around, he'll disapprove. to the point where
he does seem like a prude. Let's be honest.
he's a robot. How can a robot be a prude?
He's robot butler, classically trained robot butler.
Quite.
So yeah, they're recommending that you use a main operations hub. I suspect you, like I, are using Sanctuary. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. For now, yeah.
Yeah, Sanctuary seems like the obvious choice right at the beginning, so I think that's probably where you should probably do it. And just when you want to dismiss your companions, make sure you send them back to your whatever you're using as your hub, so that they're always available for you.
True that. Next, power armor is great, but don't overuse it. So unlike in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, power armor isn't a late game discovery. Rather, you get it right away. I mean, right
Yeah,
away.
that is weird. That is very strange.
But you can't really use it.
Yeah, because you need the
fusion core.
reactor.
Yeah,
things,
so like pretty much everything in the game, you can customize it to your taste, swapping out individual parts, adding a paint job, jetpacks, dude, jetpacks.
Yeah, I can't wait till I can mod out my my power armor, but I just leave it over in the corner for the time being.
Right. So yeah, but definitely use it, but use it economically. Like go back, grab it when you need it, and then put it back. Don't waste all your fusion cores on the walk to and from wherever you're headed.
Oh wait, say that again?
No, don't use all your fusion cores walking back and forth to where you're going.
So pick it up, carry it with you, and then put it on when you're there, or what?
Well, no, just fast travel. But like don't go.
Fast travel.
Don't
Yeah,
go
yeah,
and
yeah,
find
yeah.
like don't wear it out in the wilderness going looking.
I was
to find
trying to
stuff.
figure out if you put it on and fast traveled with it, if that wore down the power core at all.
You know what? I don't know about that. Maybe it does.
That was something I was curious about, and I couldn't figure it out.
I don't know.
Because
that requires.
There
some
doesn't seem to be
experimenting.
a place on the screen when you're inside it that shows you how much juice you've got left or anything. But
No.
maybe I haven't spent that much time inside it, so I don't know.
No, me neither.
Anyway,
but
anyway, just don't waste your power. In the
it's
power
cool
suit.
though. I like power armor. It's cool.
Number whatever we're on now. Build settlements, but don't forget to maintain them. Fallout 4 puts you in charge of settlements, little outcrops that you can open up along your adventure, and then you can manage, expand, and customize to your liking. Your character's pre-war hometown, Sanctuary Hills, is your first stop once you exit the vault, and it forms the central hub of your operations. Settlement building is a great way to put you in control of rebuilding the once great Commonwealth. From constructing your own personal house to creating shelters for your settlers, crops, water supplies, etc., right down to crafting furniture and pictures for your walls.
I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I will, but I'm not. like there's so.
It's not a priority right now.
There's it's not. You know what? When you bought the DLC, because I keep having to compare this to Skyrim because a lot of the ideas for the DLC there are showing up prominently here, and it's like the Hearthfire expansion where you build your house. Where if you show up with enough money at the foundation of the house before it's even built, you can have it fully furnished by the time you finish the next dungeon.
Yeah,
and it just does it on its own. There's none of that macro management
create every
here.
little. I'm wondering if, and maybe they'll mention it in this how-to list. But I'm wondering if there's any way you can like put somebody in charge of
that
doing
would be neat.
stuff.
I would quite like
I
that.
hope that you can.
Next,
like interior decorator.
I learned this the hard way. Don't go swimming.
Yeah, I read something about that.
It's not a typical swimming equals instant death, but it will poison you with radiation, and you will slowly or rather quickly die.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, just don't do that. Don't go swimming.
Yeah, and you don't get a lot of rat away.
No, you don't. I've only found a couple of them.
And you can make it. I came across a chem table at some point, like a alchemy station.
Right.
And I noticed that there was a recipe that I already know how to do. I just didn't have the ingredients. Your Pip-Boy, it does more than you think, as well as giving you constantly up-to-date stats on your character's well-being, perks, status effects, inventory, outfit options, etc. Let's see. The Pip-Boy has a couple of other great features I only stumbled on a few hours after play. You'll pick up listenable holotapes as you explore, and these little recordings give you incidental storytelling options to discover about particular unique places and even open up quest lines. To listen, just find them in the miscellaneous part of your inventory and slot them into the holotape compartment of your Pip-Boy to listen to more of the world's secrets. You can even find little mini games to play when you want some downtime.
This dude wasn't paying attention because Cosworth told me to do that right after I got out of the vault.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Next, be smart about your ammo. We already talked about this.
Yeah,
Don't
this is
run around shooting at the
Fallout
walls like an idiot.
101. Conserve your ammo. Keep all the pick up all the ammo. The
All
ammo,
of the
unlike
ammo.
in real life, does not weigh anything.
You
and
won't be
you can
over
carry
encumbered
as
by
much as
your
you want.
600 rounds.
So
of,
pick up every little bit of ammo that you have, and carry a diverse arsenal of weapons that you can customize to how difficult your enemies.
it's
are.
odd that the 300 rounds of 38 ammo I have doesn't weigh a pound.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to
doesn't even weigh
argue
a
about
whole
it.
pound.
Go for it. Next one.
Priority perks. There are a ton of perks in Fallout 4, from passive improvements to active game effects that can completely change your playstyle. If you want to do best in the game, though, you'll need to study the perk chart regularly, always planning your next move. I recommend buffing your strength, charisma, and intelligence skills to start with, as this will give you an introductory boost in the areas of physical capability, conversation skills, and leveling. Perception is also pretty useful, and luck will give you some unexpected boons. Can give you some unexpected boons, but it's not essential. I disagree. As far as I'm concerned, agility, agility and endurance are kind of big ones for me, because agility gives you the high VATs. You can take a lot of shots in VATs the more agility you have, and then endurance allows you. And I've one of the things that I love about the new Fallout is you can sprint in it. That's what drove me nuts about Fallout always before, is that you just ran along at the slowest fucking pace in the world.
Dude,
you can sprint.
I want a car. I want some sort of transportation.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could get like
A motorcycle.
a horse or
Yeah.
or like a bicycle.
even a bicycle. Could you
Be
power
nice.
armor dude rolling around on a bicycle? That'd be funny. No, I like perception, agility, and intelligence. Actually, are the ones I'm buffing right now. I got some
really?
charisma too. Yeah. I started out with high perception and intelligence, and now I'm going with agility and endurance when I'm leveling up. Yep. Next one. Keep your radio on. The radio on your Pip-Boy is still as wonderful as it's ever been. Diamond City Radio is a constant companion, playing out 50s jives about uranium fever and slow songs about heartbreak. You can always rely on the classical radio station to give your fights against feral ghouls a nudge into the orchestrally epic.
I know this in the radio.
I turn the radio on when I'm in the wilderness area, like out in the wasteland. But if I'm doing something else, I usually turn it off because it's annoying.
Why do you turn it on out in the wilderness area?
Well, because there's no one talking and nothing really listening for.
I just find the music kind of obnoxious. Next, don't heal dog meat. Yes, his whimpers are heartbreaking and you'll feel like a monster letting him limp around, but don't waste a stim pack on him unless you really need him back up immediately. Stim packs are valuable and rare resources in the first few hours of the game, and you'll need them way more than he does. He can't die and will heal as soon as the fighting stops, so just leave him be and take revenge on the jerks who hurt him. Violent, brutal revenge.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I like dog meat. I like him a lot. He's
nothing to do with the fact that we're both dog people.
Yeah, well, there's that, but
Dog
he's also he's always sniffing around and little whimpers and things, and it's like, oh, it's like I'm not by myself. Without
every now and then I just stop
irritating.
and have him do a little trick for me.
I was having him look for stuff.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You can have him seek out enemies, have him look for stuff.
Next, melee the small stuff. Ammo's at a premium. If you can beat it to death, you should probably do that.
Absolutely, yeah. You unless you're worried about mole rats killing you, you may as well just beat them to death with a stick. I mean, they're pretty easy to kill.
It exploded. It was an exploding mole rat.
Oh, one of those exploding mole rats.
I died in a fireball, and then I look back, and it's just this mole rat. So maybe someone blew me up at the same time as a mole rat attacked me.
That's
I don't know.
possible. I have noticed that, like in Lexington or whatever, that there's like somebody hanging up on a on top of a building somewhere that's just shooting rocket launchers.
Yeah,
at
he's
you.
an asshole.
Yeah, fuck that guy. And let's see, keep away from the feral ghouls for a while. In case you didn't know, feral ghouls are the Wasteland's version of zombies. By
Yeah.
the way,
They're zombie-ish.
they're definitely zombie-ish. They did a little too much Jet. One of the great things about Fallout 4 is that you'll find all manner of interesting things on your way to your next mission, but some of those interesting things are way, way more powerful than you at first, and it's hard to tell which is which. Raiders look tough, but what with their Mad Maxian sartorial flair, will go down fairly easily, whereas zombie-esque feral ghouls will straight up murder your ass. They're not only ferocious, but also typically appear in large numbers, which is way more than you can handle before you've equipped better gear. Also, I recommend shoot for the head.
Yeah, do that.
It's good policy.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, modify your power armor. Good news is that you get power armor pretty quick. The bad news is that it doesn't try very hard. Fallout 4 doesn't try very hard to tell you how to use it. Getting into it's easy, but how do you fix it when it's broke or upgrade legs or paint it? Not going to get into the details of it really. You can stick it in a workbench, and there's plenty of guides online as to how to make it not suck or improve it or unbreak it. The thing about it, you also have to, you can find like different magazines and stuff around, learn how to do paint schemes and different mods, and that's really cool. It's annoying that you don't have it when you want it, but it's cool that there are some parts that are still unlockable.
I think it's brilliant what they did. I think it's genius. They give it to you right off the bat, unless you
Yeah.
just stew and think about all the cool things you want to do with it.
That's absolutely right. No,
And
they did do that.
and then
very
piecemeal
well.
it out to you over time.
Yeah.
You get a little bit at a time, and you hardly ever get to use it. But it'll be like eventually you'll have this super badass armor suit that you've modified completely to yourself. I can't
Yeah.
wait. Can't wait till I can paint my armor
Yeah, right.
and put like,
Flames.
big rocket launchers on my shoulders and whatever they're gonna let me do.
Well, we've put it off long enough, sir.
All right.
It's time to get serious.
Why so serious?
Coordinated attacks at six different sites claimed 129 lives in Paris yesterday so far, and left another 350 injured, 100 of them critically. The Islamic State is claiming responsibility, calling Paris the, quote, capital of prostitution and obscenity, and the attacks ominously and ambiguously referred to as the first fire in the storm. What's up?
They obviously haven't been to Vegas, or Atlantic City.
Yeah. I think they mean on a traditional, in a traditional sense. Vegas is the New World's Sodom and Gomorrah. The attacks seem to be being interpreted partly in response to France's participation in the coalition force against ISIS in the Mideast, and as a crime of opportunity. What with their large Muslim population and influx of refugees that they can move among in camouflage. In all, 8 terrorists were either blown up by their own hand or killed by police. All the attackers had heavy weaponry and suicide vests. It began with 2 attackers detonating vests outside a soccer stadium north of Paris, and ended about 3 hours or so later with authorities rushing a concert hall full of hostages. One attacker there was killed while 2 others detonated their vests inside. 89 people who had been there to see the American metal band Edges of Death Metal were
Eagles
were
of Death
shot.
Metal. Eagles of Death
What?
Metal. It's the Eagles
Oh,
of Death
sorry.
Metal.
Eagles of Death Metal, yeah, sorry. In case you're wondering, this is what they sound like. That was supposed to be a cue for you, by the way.
That was the intro. We played
Yes.
the intro. Hold on. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Here.
Bad news.
My friends are talking and they're telling you, just leave them alone 'cause the boy's bad news. Oh, I want you so hard, I want you so good.
Reminds me of Queens of the Stone Age. Remember
A
Queens
little
of the
bit,
Stone Age?
yeah. I like them a lot.
Yeah. Police have conducted multiple raids on several homes in the hour since the attacks. No word on arrests yet. Just on a side note, the headline of Drudge today said, quote, Paris terrorists refugees are, in other words, they are refugees, some of the refugees coming over from the Middle East. And it appears that at least 2 of the men that French authorities are looking at for their connection with the attacks were registered as migrants with the Greek authorities, Greece is a main entry point for refugees coming into Europe from the conflict in Syria. But let's be clear, though, by the very definition of the word refugee, these men are not refugees.
Yeah.
A refugee is somebody who flees an area to avoid war and persecution. These men were wolves among sheep.
Yeah.
Let's be clear on that. That kind of pisses me off because they've been saying this is going to happen. Yeah, we knew this was going to happen, but let's not use it as a means to condemn the actual refugees.
Right. That's the whole thing's tough because
you don't want to let in people who are going to try to kill you, but at the same time, we shouldn't be turning people away who need help. Like we shouldn't. That's what terrorism is. It's supposed to scare you, and if we let them scare us, then they win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the man known as Jihadi John, aka Mohammed Emwazi, a Kuwaiti-born British militant, infamous for beheading people in online videos. The Pentagon is, quote, reasonably certain that he's dead, killed in an drone airstrike in Syria Thursday. They said it would take several days to be certain the attack was successful, but said successfully eliminating Emwazi would be, quote, a strike at the heart of the Islamic State. So normally after they've done a strike like this against a particular personality, it takes a little while to confirm their death. I'm going to skip over the Missoula thing. Everybody's heard about what's going on college campuses around the country now. The Black Lives Matter movement has moved to campuses, and it does set an interesting precedent. A football team.
Yeah, the football team held the whole school hostage for this, and they got their way.
And when you consider how much money is in those football programs,
Mm-hmm.
it really did hold the school hostage.
Yeah.
Because those are multiple hundreds of millions of dollars.
But it worked. I mean,
but
almost
it
overnight it worked.
Sound like maybe there really was a culture of racism there that needed to be addressed, and likely that is the case on many campuses around this country.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, Russia has been suspended from international competitions, including the Olympics, for, quote, state-sponsored doping. We've known about that since Rocky IV, though, right?
I must break you.
Drago. You will lose.
You will lose. They must break you.
Whenever I think of Rocky IV, I always think of that training montage with Drago working out in like all of his
in the lab,
like
in the fitness lab.
Yeah, in the fitness lab with all the electrodes all over his body, and he's like doing this fancy stair climber.
He broke the treadmill.
And meanwhile, Sylvester Stallone's off in like
in the
Siberian wilderness, fighting polar bears and stuff like that, lifting logs up over his head, climbing through the snow. You can't beat good old American toughness.
There's some pretty overt undertones to that whole. I mean, it's not just
you can
like
actually call them undertones.
Yeah, they're overtones.
In this case, they're called
definitely overtones.
Blatantly obvious overtones, right?
It's better to train in the wilderness than in a lab.
So the IAAF, the organization in charge of international competition, recently released a report that stated there's evidence of, quote, direct interference and intimidation by the Russian state and with the Moscow laboratory operations, where Russia's anti-doping agency known as RUSADA gave athletes advance notice when tests were coming up, hid missed tests, and used bribes and intimidation to cover up missed tests. Russian President Vladimir Putin, thanks for changing the spelling on that for me,
you bet.
Has indicated he supports cooperation with the suspension, saying the battle must be open. A sporting contest is only interesting when it is honest. He's in the KGB, did you know that?
You know what? I think Putin is not sorry that it happened. I think he's sorry they got caught.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's probably going to be the case for a lot of, because I think this is probably going to be the beginning of a worldwide kind of.
Would you say that pretty much anyone who gets caught doping is not sorry they did it? They're just sorry they weren't careful enough, or I mean, Lance
Hey,
Armstrong.
look at all
certainly is not
the
sorry.
American athletes who have been caught doping.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they do it to get an edge, and they do it because they know everybody else, not everybody else, but a lot of the other ones out
Remember
there.
when
doing
it was really cool to wear your Livestrong bracelet all the time, and now it's
Yeah, somehow I missed out on that.
and now they're just now there's just 500 million cat toys littering the bottom of somebody's closet.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like the ET or Activision ET game. There's a giant you don't remember Atari ET Atari game.
No, I never played an Atari.
You never heard about the whole ET
Atari's
thing?
before my time.
No, all right. Although Atari died because of ET. So there's this giant hole out in the desert somewhere where there's like 800,000 ET games.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I did.
ET, the game ET game actually literally killed Atari.
Yeah. No, I have heard about that actually. And I didn't.
So there's
I, didn't remember that
I
it
guess I
was
was just saying there's a
ET.
giant pit somewhere with 10 billion Lance Armstrong Livestrong bracelets.
You know what? They probably buried him in the same hole.
You're a daydreamer, a sass-mouth, and not infrequently a bit of a giggle puss.
Do you want this?
No, but I like the idea that it exists. I like the fact that people I think it's stupid personally, but
We're talking, of course, about the latest trend among biohackers, which is obviously implanting LED lights beneath your skin. Because who doesn't want to have glowy lights
I mean
under
it's
your
kind of like
flesh?
Iron Man ish.
No, it's not.
Right?
Look, I'm all for functional implants and biometrics and biohacking as it relates to the improvement of one's life or the lives
Yeah.
of humanity in general. I don't want my hands to glow because I cut them open and jammed some
Yeah, no,
LEDs
that's
inside
stupid.
there.
Oh,
Now,
okay. The fact that
My
you just,
first
like,
question, before we even look at the article, these pictures, they opened up their skin, jammed the LEDs inside there, and then sewed them back up. What happens when those batteries die?
No, you gotta replace it sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
So, Motherboard reports the Pittsburgh-based biohacking collective performed 3 implantations in conjunction with simultaneous operation in Dusseldorf last Saturday. The new light up
Why are you saying it like that?
because it
Makes
looks like German. Looks like a German word. German. Dusseldorf.
It must be.
Dusseldorf. The new light-up device, dubbed the North Star V1, is about the size of a coin, a big coin, making it considerably smaller than an earlier version. The procedure to implant the device required only 15 minutes, where you cut yourself open and jam them inside. Performed
Doesn't
under
take very long.
strict conditions. And once it's implanted, the North Star device can backlight existing tattoos, which is kind of cool. But I want it to be the tattoo that glows, not the light behind it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, it's kind of neat, but it's also stupid. That
It's
you,
cool
like,
that we
slicing
can do
yourself
it,
open and
right?
shoving something inside.
It's very cool that we can do it.
Mhm.
I just don't know that we need to.
No, we definitely don't need to. It's clearly stupid, and I would never do it personally. But
Oh,
I think it's a step towards. Huh?
Some of these pictures. Damn, look at that picture. That's a big old bruise there at the end. Oh, ew. And look, his stitches probably glow in the dark too. That's so counterculture.
Yeah, it's for a unique segment of our society.
Yeah. Well,
But,
it's the body modding and piercing and tattoo crowd. They've got a new way to, if you're super into tattoos and piercings and body art, you got giant gauges in your ears and things like that. If that's your thing, you've got a new thing to try, right?
It's part of the transhumanism movement, and while I don't want to start slicing myself open and shoving, LEDs inside myself, I know it's an important part of the transhumanist process, and I'm glad that somebody else is stupid enough to be the fodder for these experiments,
Yes.
so that we can get to the point where we can have chips inside our brains that help us send email.
Grindhouse, the company that did this, has big plans for the future. Future version of the chip could, in addition to its cosmetic functionality, deliver important biometric readings to an
There you
external
go.
device like a phone. See, that's where we're getting to.
Did we get some stuff from Slush for later in the show?
Slush.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know what Slush is.
Oh, that's that event that's taking place in Finland that I sent you something about.
crap.
I didn't check the bottom of the show.
No.
Well, I'll
do
go
that.
look for it, or at least very briefly mention something about it when we get to robots. But this circadian, which is what this thing is called, the new chip, which obviously is an allusion to circadian rhythms and biorhythms and whatnot. Is a type of wearable, but now it's an implantable wearable that follows your body's rhythms and whatnots.
Got it.
So that is the future.
It is.
Before long, we will all have implanted microchips that monitor our, glucose, our blood pressure.
I'm cool with all of it. I want all of this to happen. I really do.
Yeah.
The only.
This is stupid.
I'm not
but
willing to cut myself open just to glow. If I glow and also do other stuff, sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you that I don't have any interest in doing this, and I think people who stupid. But I feel like it's an inevitable part of the process of getting to where we all have what we actually maybe not need, but have devices within us that can improve our lives and make us healthier and live longer and smarter
And glow.
faster and glow if we need to. You won't need a pit bull.
Are you not entertained?
Speaking of Pit Boys, entertainment is brought to you by Rad-X. Radiation resistant when you need it most. Don't go swimming. Please, for the love of God, don't go swimming.
Oh, so another sad thing that happened this week was famed composer and musician Mr. Alan Toussaint passed away. He was a famous musician, New Orleans musician. He was a jazz pianist, but he was also a composer who worked with people like Snooks Eaglin, Irma Thomas, the Neville brothers, folks like that. And he had a huge influence on music in New Orleans specifically, but even on folks like Otis Redding, the Rolling Stones, things like that. And he was a personal favorite of mine. I actually got to see him last April for my birthday.
That's right. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
I think
so
I even had a clip.
I've been wanting to see him for years, and he almost always plays at the Jazz Fest in New Orleans. I just happened to be going back, and so I wound up catching him, and thankfully I did before he passed away. Passed away at age 77 after performing a concert in Madrid, Spain earlier this week.
Got this for you. If you've heard an Alan Toussaint song, it was probably this one.
When a cold chill begins to burn at your very soul, that's the sweet touch of love.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, we used that as intro music at one point.
We did.
Quite a while ago. My favorite is
Last April,
Train.
I believe.
Huh?
Last April,
What's
I
that?
think. We did it last April.
Oh, that's right. You're right. He didn't actually play that one, but Last Train is actually my favorite. We also have a link to that one. I won't make you play it now. You can play it sometime later on. Maybe we can play that. It'll be our exit music today or something like that. I don't know. Surprise me. But yeah, anyway, died at 77. Who's known for his colorful outfits. He would wear sequin suits, and he just had the brightest smile all the time, and was known as a consummate gentleman among the community. If anybody's interested, the NPR had him they had an interview with him a while back that replayed on Fresh Air yesterday. So if you go to iTunes and Fresh Air, and if you want to listen to that a recording of that, it's available on iTunes through iTunes right now.
They're dropping like flies. The musicians of our youth.
Yeah. Well, he's not. He's been an influential member of the musical community since the 1950s. So he's been around. You know, he had hits like "Working in the Coal Mine." If you've ever heard that song,
I have heard that
Working
one.
in the coal mine. I don't know the words, but that's the song. He does a version of Tipatina that Professor Longhair had that I really love his version of Tipatina. Tipatina and Me, I think it's called. But anyway, sad day for music lovers.
Indeed.
Earlier this week, I'm still depressed about it. So, still a sad day.
That's how I was when B.B. King died earlier this year.
Yeah,
I was sad about that.
well, but B.B. King wasn't your favorite musician. Alan
No.
Sisson is my favorite living
Oh
musician.
dear, I
Was my favorite living
didn't
musician.
realize that.
Yeah.
That's crushing. I'm sorry for your
Was
loss.
Just like, oh shucks, this guy died.
No.
I was just gonna throw it out there real quickly. I saw Spectre last weekend.
And is it amazing?
It was entertaining. It fell flat at the end.
That's not what I want to hear, dude. That's not what I want.
Know,
I want it to be
kinda,
awesome.
It was for the most part, it was a great Bond film for the most part. But then at the end, they took the guy,
Are you gonna spoil the ending of Spectre right now?
No, okay, I won't. Well, everybody knows who the villain is. Shit, what's his fucking name?
That guy.
It's the guy from Inglourious Basterds. Did you ever see Inglourious Basterds?
No, still haven't seen it.
Oh my god!
Every time you ask me, you know what? Now I'm
man.
just not gonna see it because I'm just sticking to my guns about it.
Well, you fucking suck.
It sticks in your cross so much that I haven't seen Inglourious Basterds.
It should stick in your craw because you're the idiot for not seeing it. Anyway, it's the main bad guy from Inglourious Basterds, whatever his name is. I'm trying to look it up on IMDb right now, but of course, it's taking a while. But he
Christoph Waltz.
Huh?
It's Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz, thank you. Which you would recognize from what's the one with Jamie Foxx? The other Tarantino film with Jamie Foxx playing
Django, wasn't it?
Django Unchained. Yeah, he's his sidekick in Django Unchained. He's been in a lot of stuff over the years, but he plays the bad guy, and the kind of the way they tie his and Bond's pasts together, and make like everything that the film's kind of about that.
I am the
like
author
everything
of
that
all
every
your
bad
sorrow.
thing that happened to Bond in all the films ever is
Ever?
all because of this guy.
Wow.
Supposedly.
All right.
And it's
Well,
so
you
stupid
coulda got-
that I
you-
don't
you
feel like
got-
I'm spoiling anything by.
Well, you
calling
got
it
that in the trailer too. I am the author of all your sorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
I found that really obnoxious. Like just let him be a regular supervillain. We don't need to have we don't need to have them tied together like that. So that really kind of made it fall flat at the end for me.
Well, but if this is Daniel Craig's last Bond, doesn't it have to be sort of epic?
I have heard that he's got one more Bond to go.
Oh.
One more. He does not seem pleased. I think.
Is he under contract to do another one?
I don't know. I don't think he is. But he did have some pretty negative things to say about Bond recently that made a lot of press. And that's actually apparently pretty normal. Apparently,
Pierce Brosnan hated it by the time he was done.
Yeah, and Sean Connery was notoriously said that he hated Bond. He thought he was an asshole.
Yeah.
And playing
he
that
is.
character, could grate on him. I could understand that. Let me see if I can find Daniel Craig's comments. I know he said he was misogynist. Surprise.
We know that though. Like that's
pretty
that's
clear.
part of the Bond
That was
character.
that was one of the less controversial things actually. That was one that a lot of people mentioned in the media, but like surprise, who fucking cares?
Yeah. Well, I mean
Um,
that's the thing too. Is like if we're exploring the depth of the Bond character with Daniel Craig's, this whole reboot thing with Casino Royale and all those things. Like that's seems like the psychology of it and the depth of such a deeply flawed character would be.
Yeah, and
better.
as deeply flawed as he is in most iterations, this Bond is the darkest of all of them by far.
Yeah.
He is the Anakin Skywalker of the
Yeah.
fucking Bond
Yeah.
Bond world. And I'm seeing it. I just saw, while typing and looking for comments, I saw that Ray Fiennes stepped into the media spotlight and stood up for him and said that he believes Daniel Craig is literally psychologically scarred to some extent from playing this role.
Wow. It's
So,
it's
I-
sad. It's
you know-
it's the testicle bashing scene from Casino Royale that did it.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like these guys, we know. Look at the Joker, right? Look
Yeah.
at what the Joker did to Heath Ledger.
Mhm.
And what Jack Nicholson's comments were just from playing it in the silly version in back in the 90s.
Did you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah. So it's got a 7.2 rating on IMDb. I think it had 55 and 75 or something like that last time I looked at Rotten Tomatoes. Actually, speaking of
Really?
which,
Do critics hate it a lot more than
anyway, so-
do critics hate it a lot more than viewers?
Critics had the same comments I had, probably
Yeah.
saying that probably didn't need to fucking tie it all together like that.
Yeah.
Would have been a better movie, and
Whatever.
and the way it all ends is kind of stupid. I was disappointed in the last kind of scene.
Well, you're just all bah humbug, and I don't.
No, like I
it.
said, it was very entertaining as far as Bond movies go. I just feel like it could have been wrapped up a lot better, and it didn't need that. It's kind of tropey sort of diabolical enemies, arch enemy type thing. They didn't need to do it. I think it would have been a better movie if they hadn't tied them together the way they did.
Well, everybody go and see it, and then let us know what you think.
Or wait until it comes out on whatever. You don't have to go spend
You
the
don't
money.
suggest that you see this movie in the theater?
I think most movies are better in the theater, almost all. But I don't know. I think you could probably wait on this one. Of the Daniel Craig Bond movies to wait, I'd probably say this is the one.
Really?
I put it up there with Solaris. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
so-
Not Solaris. What was the other
Quantum
one?
of Solace,
Quantum of Solace. Yeah, I put it there with Quantum of Solace.
which was the worst of the three that he did.
Yeah. So
All right. Well, you know what it's time for? It's time to get into the rest of top 5. Number 1, obviously, made 70.4 on its first opening weekend. Spectre.
Yeah, so actually it looks like critics have increased their opinion of it a little bit, and users have decreased their opinion of it a little bit. There's less of a gap than there was last week. 63 and 68%.
Nice.
Uh,
Well,
so,
we should meet in the middle at
both good and
65.
Huh?
We'll meet in the middle at 65. Right? That's right. Also opening last week, in its first week on the chart, it made 44.2 million, which really ain't bad for the Peanuts movie.
Yeah, and pretty well received. 85 and 85%. That's hard to beat, man.
Yeah, that's especially for an animated feature. When was the last time an animated feature did that? Okay, that wasn't DreamWorks.
Right. Or, yeah, Pixar.
Even Pixar doesn't do that well, but DreamWorks, How to Tame Your Dragon and Big Hero, that was Pixar, I guess. Big Hero 6 was Pixar, wasn't it?
Charlie Brown, the world's most beloved underdog, embarks on an epic and heroic quest while his best pal, the lovable beagle Snoopy, takes to the skies to pursue his arch nemesis. the Red Baron.
Nice.
His arch nemesis, Christopher Waltz. And they tie their backstories together in a stupid way that makes you kind of pissed off that they did it. Yeah. So that's the backstory. That's what
Very
happens
good.
in the Peanuts movie.
Outstanding. Number 3, in its 6th week, still up at number 3, but that's more of a commentary to the garbage that's below it. The Martian made $9 million for a total of 196.8.
And still the best movie in theaters, hands down, without question. This movie, if you haven't seen it, punch yourself in the crotch right now. 93 and 93% after all this time. There you go. Yeah, I see you doing it.
Yeah. Number 4, in its 4th week, made 66.2 altogether for 6.8 this week. Goosebumps.
Yeah,
Jack
74
Black.
and 73%. Jack Black.
Screw that thing.
Woohoo.
And finally, in its 4th week, it made 5.8 million for a total of 54.7. Bridge of Spies.
Yeah, I'm glad to see this is still in the top 5. Good for them. 91 and 90%.
At least it's made back its budget.
Yeah, that's the important part, and we'll all see it in the when it comes out on Netflix, probably. Unfortunately, I do want to see it. I'm not going to see it.
Not paying money to see it in the theater, though. Too bad.
I doubt I'm going to see another movie in the theater before The Force Awakens.
Yeah, that's probably the truth.
It's only about a month.
I know.
You know that's only a month away?
I know.
This is such a glorious holiday season.
Is killing me.
Fallout.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just, no. Fallout, got the Mockingjay thing, and then we got the Star Wars and new Bond movies. It's a good holiday season.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
Still need background music for this. I don't know what to do for it.
Well, remind me, and I'll try to help you look later. So
Fallout 4. This is all we got
it looks
today.
like there's a story here somewhere.
Yeah, there is. It is
Some kind.
Bethesda has announced a record-setting sale for Fallout 4. Sales reaffirm what we already know. It's amazing. Fallout 4 was one of the year's most anticipated games, and the hype is translated into an ad for Star Wars Battlefront. In a press release sent out today, Bethesda's and Softworks announced that Fallout 4 generating record sales at retail outlets. People are still buying this in a store rather than having it
Who
shipped
still
to
buys video games in stores?
Apparently people do.
What year do you think this is?
Yeah, Fallout 4 launched with approximately 12 million units worldwide, representing a sales in excess of $750 million. Bethesda also touched on the highly coveted Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition, which sold out within hours of its availability. As expected, the Pip-Boy was the fastest-selling collector's edition of any game in history.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've got my Pip-Boy right here.
Yeah, it's a cell phone. That's an
actually,
iPhone.
you know what's funny? When I go running, put it in this, and it literally is pretty much Pip-Boy.
It's pretty much Pip-Boy.
It's an armband.
Do you have the
right?
companion app? Okay, that's something.
No, I don't.
I haven't spent that much time worrying about it because I just can't be bothered. I can't make the companion app find my computer. Remember how we were talking about?
I haven't done anything with the companion app. I just don't care.
Oh no, it's you don't have to pause and tab and open up and scroll through with the Pip-Boy. You can just look at it on your phone while you're doing stuff. It's not necessary, but it's cool. Okay, so it's a massive commercial success. It's highly acclaimed. It's users and critics both love it. And what's wrong with this game? Like, is there anything wrong with it? I mean, because we've talked a little bit about our first impressions already. All the things that pissed us off about New Vegas seem to be gone.
I don't know if that's exactly true. I still find the perk process to be frustrating because you never really have one that you're like, oh, this is one I definitely, I mean, you get to some later, but you're gonna have to spend perk points on a lot of perks that you don't give a shit about to get to ones later on that you do actually want.
Well, the same is true too for Skyrim. Like if you're like in games like that, like well, you know what I really want in the enchantment tree is the one that lets me put 2 enchantments on the same same weapon,
that's
but
true.
I got to get all this other garbage before it'll
Yeah,
let
you
me
get
do
every
that.
single other one first,
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
So that's
No,
true for
I
anything
agree.
where there's a
But
tree.
the thing is, I think there's. Sorry.
No. I was just the same is true for pretty much any leveling system where it's so customizable. You have to level your character, and so you have to inevitably take the one that says, "Well, sure, I'll get 20% more damage when I shoot things with a semi-automatic weapon." So that when I get to this point and I have the skills I want, I have the stats to back it up. So I don't think there's any getting around that.
No.
Is there?
Probably not. Yeah, and I mean it's a small complaint. I feel like they're a little more stingy.
Well, it's been
Yeah.
way streamlined too.
Yeah. Compared to previously.
Yeah, well, because in New Vegas you had skills and you had your perks, and now they're all the one. Or talents.
Sort of,
Talents
yeah.
and skills are the same thing now.
Yeah, I don't have too many complaints. It's a tiny bit glitchy, but not. I mean, I heard all these horror stories online, but I haven't really had any serious issues with glitches. I've had a few very, very minor ones so far, but not enough for me to like write a blog post condemning the game in any way.
You're not gonna hate blog about it.
Yeah, I saw somebody complaining that they like were in an elevator somewhere and the game just froze up and they waited and waited and waited and never reloaded. And then they loaded a previous save point and tried to go back to the elevator and it did the same thing. And so they loaded a previous save point again, went to a different elevator and it did the same thing. So apparently whatever they did caused every elevator to just freeze the game.
Well, you know, if you go into the elevator, you have to push the button. You can't just sit in the elevator and wait for it to go.
That may be what happened to him.
Because it took me a second. The one elevator I've used one elevator. I walked in, and I stood there for a minute because I hit the button and closed the door. I realized that there's a button for also making the elevator go, and I felt like an idiot.
Oh man, I bet that's what happened to this guy. Well,
that's silly.
there you go, dude who wrote that.
Solving your problems in the wasteland. I don't know.
So what about you? What are your issues if you have any?
Dude, I don't really have any.
It's really hard to find fault with this game anywhere.
I'm not used to playing any sort of a shooter. Well, any games really, outside of the online Heroes and and the MMOs. Like I haven't played a straight up computer game in years. And
do you have a controller or are you playing with a keyboard?
I'm playing with a keyboard and mouse, and that's hard. It's hard to remember.
Are you thinking about getting a controller? Because I don't think I could play. I don't think I could. Play
I'm not really. I think by the time I decided that I was going to buy a Steam controller or something like that, I would be so good at doing it this way. There's just a learning curve that I'm not there with yet, but I just can't get over how pretty it is. I've never played such a pretty game.
It is amazingly good looking.
Like my computer is selling itself short. It doesn't think it's as good. It's not good at my computer. My massive monstrous computer is not good enough to run the premium the ultra settings on this game. So it's close, but it's not good enough. That said, on high settings, it's still there's still the gentle shift in focus and when you're looking at something up close and then your view changes and whatever's close to you shifts out of focus, right? There's the lighting and the lens flares and the wetness effects when it's raining. Stuff gets wet and water drips from your elbows as you're running down. And it's incredible, and it's so seamless, and like loading times are nothing. It's gorgeous and it's perfect, and I mean it's not a perfect game. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff wrong with it, and I haven't found any bugs. I haven't played long enough to find any bugs. But it's just so good. I'm so happy that it's here, and it makes me super excited for whatever's gonna come in the next Skyrim.
Yeah, that is encouraging, isn't it? they seem to have done it pretty well here. You know what? The only, and this is my only complaint. No vaulting over stuff. You've heard me complain about this in games so many times. Once you play a few games where you can vault over things, it kind of spoils you. And I just want to be able to vault over everything. I don't want to have to just jump over it. So that would be my one and only very minor complaint.
Yeah, if you could, if jump were coupled with a climb over onto this rock.
Yeah, like I don't want to like jump normally over this fence. I want to, put one hand on it and vault over it.
But dude, you got your sprinting.
But I got my sprinting, so that I'm pretty freaking happy about that. I'll admit.
Okay. Well, hey, we'll have more thoughts on this as the weeks progress. I'm sure it's going to be one of those that keeps coming up.
Hey.
And I thought Corey would be around today to talk about his Pip-Boy, but he's not. So we'll have to get him on to talk about the Pip-Boy edition next time.
Apparently, Otto has some comments he wants to make.
So hey, we're actually running a little bit short on time, so we're gonna fly into.
Shush.
Do you want to talk about space mining?
Space mining.
Space mining. Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about it last week a little bit.
I think that was a different one. I'm not up to date on the space mining. Can we talk about the camera and the camera tiara? I just want to mention it real quick.
Yeah, go
I think
for it.
This is a cool idea. It's like it looks like a tiara basically, but it's basically a GoPro that you wear on your forehead, which it doesn't really look cool unless you're a 8-year-old girl.
I'm not sure that you can look cool wearing a plastic tiara with a camera lens in the middle of it. I don't think that's possible.
You don't think you could do that?
No. Well, maybe you can. Maybe you can pull off the plastic camera tiara look.
I think I could, but I think your daughter will be better at it in a few years.
I love the name of this thing too. It's the It's the 3RDI, which if you sound that out, it's third eye, which is in your forehead.
Oh,
no.
It's third eye.
Yeah.
New camera that lets you capture your life while you're enjoying the moment by placing a camera smack dab in the center of your forehead. This is from Petapixel. The camera is the brainchild of a Montreal-based startup called Third Eye Tech. Style-wise, it looks like a bright white headband and a small black camera built into the forehead section. I just think this is a cool, simple idea.
Mm-hmm.
Tapping the left side of the camera band that captures a still photo while firing the built-in flash. Tapping the right side shoots a shot without illumination. The HD camera features autofocus and a wide-angle view that you can use to do video capture. Slide your finger forward on either side to start recording footage, then slide it backwards to stop. So there's no buttons even.
It's all touch.
That's really neat. Yeah.
Crazy. As a first step towards it, because GoPros are. You got to strap them on. You got to have gear for them, and this seems pretty simple. You look like a moron, but.
But you know what? In 20 years, every human being on the planet will be wearing one of these.
Yeah, one of these. Or the Google
something
glasses.
Something along these lines. Yeah.
I want the glasses that have the camera light right here. Like I just want my Google Glass to have a camera.
Third Eye Tech, that's 3RDITEK, is currently trying to launch their product through a fundraising campaign on Indiegogo. They're looking to raise $250,000. And early supporters will be able to snag a third eye unit for $194 if and when it does hit the market. So if you think this is cool, go check it out on Indiegogo and support them.
Do that.
Then the one you were mentioning, the Senate has voted to legalize space mining.
Space mining! The Space Act of 2015 would do a lot to encourage the private space industry, including extending the learning period wherein fledgling spaceflight companies can operate without too much government oversight. But more importantly, asteroid mining.
Yeah. I suspect we're going to find a lot of things in asteroids, a lot of the metals in asteroids that we need for technology for building technology, and specifically for building technology that we want to just build in space and not
Mhm.
bring down to Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, because really, if you want to build a proper space station the way it needs to be done, you need to just do it up in space.
Yeah. Well, and right now too, it's not legal for any nation to own property in space, so they're privatizing it, saying that companies and things will be able to buy an asteroid and mine the crap out of it. You know, mineral rights to the asteroid, to parts of the asteroid field.
Here's a question:
Hmm.
Who do you buy an asteroid from?
Space. The Space Council Bank.
And are they stationed in Naboo? Where are they stationed?
They're in Jupiter orbit right now.
In the Intergalactic Planetary Space Commission. Is that what it is?
It's the Space Bank. Space.
Although this
Realtors.
bill hasn't officially been signed into law yet, Planetary Resources, one such company that hopes to extract resources from asteroids, issued an effusive letter thanking congressmen who supported the bill. Many years from now, we will view this pivotal moment in time as a major step toward humanity becoming a multi-planetary species, said the CEO in the press release. This legislation establishes the same supportive framework that created the great economies of history, and it will foster the sustained development in space.
Yes, it will. I'm very excited about it.
And then, do you want to do what do we have for what's the
nanopores?
Oh yes, the nanopores. I am excited about this because I don't understand how we still need fresh water for cities. Like, how are we not using desalinators on a massive scale at this point? Can somebody explain that to me?
It does seem like this day and age we should be able to do it. Scientists have developed nanopores that inexpensively filter the salt out of seawater. As a nation, as a society, and as a world, we should have done this ages ago.
Yeah. Like the idea that Las Vegas and Los Angeles both have to get water from way over in the Colorado River, and it's just like
we got all that water right there in the ocean.
Yeah, they're like, LA is right next to the ocean, and they can't deal with their drought problem.
Yeah, well,
kidding me?
Conventional desalination relies on reverse osmosis to channel seawater through thin plastic membranes, and suffers from a number of bottlenecks. It's expensive, it's shitty, and we hate it. And that's why we don't do it. That's why we funnel water all the way from the Colorado River. This is supposed to do it cheap. MOS2 is the thing. That's what they're calling it.
The thing with the nanopores.
The thing with the nanopores. It has inherent advantages that in the molybdenum.
The other way we do it.
In this,
it is the most efficient of a number of thin film membranes that the engineers modeled, filtering up to 70% more water than graphene. So 70% more efficient than other systems.
Say that Molly word, molybdenum.
Molybdenum. Coupled with nanopores could be. I don't know. Anyway, there's a new technology that's going to be used, maybe that could help us get this to a larger scale, which I'm excited about. And
well, it's about gosh darn time.
Yeah, crying out loud.
Although California can get back to growing those almonds.
Yeah, I need my almond milk.
Quite.
Gotta squeeze those with my teats.
Fascinating. Impressive.
Inconceivable.
You headed into the city later?
No.
Oh.
I'm just gonna hang out here and play Fallout.
Oh, well, I was gonna say if you do need to head into the city, you can take my Skytran pod, self-driving monorail that would hover 20 feet above the roads and travel 150 miles an hour.
On an electromagnetic line. It actually hovers through electromagnetism.
You're damn
This is
I want this.
This is an idea. Let's see. Imagine if instead of wasting hours in gridlock, you could fly above it for the same price as a bus or subway ride. That's the idea behind Skytran. This is from Tech Insider IO, by the way. A self-driving monorail that would hover 20 feet above roads. Quit jumping around on me, stupid page. Oh, for crying out loud. Each pod would use only one magnet, Sanders says. That's the only thing I can. It's just jumping around all over the place on me right now.
Skytran's 900-foot test station will open on the campus of Israel Aerospace Industries near Tel Aviv by the end of this year. They're testing this
actually happening
by the end of this year, and they want to expand it into other countries like India, France, and the United States by 2018.
Yeah, I would love for this to be. I mean, I think this would be a real help for
me
cities.
It would be a big help for me.
Yeah, well, you've got that train that goes right next to
the
and Stadium.
it turns a 3-hour commute into a 2-hour commute, and then you have to smell everybody you're standing next to for a long time.
Yeah, but these are individual little pods developed by Doug Malawecki, an engineer at NASA's Ames Research Center. The 300-pound pods would use magnets to hang from slender rails. It would use the same amount of electricity as 2 hair dryers. That's crazy.
I'm so excited for this. I want this right now. I don't want to wait. It's magnets.
Come on.
I bet it would be very expensive to build.
Sucks.
I bet it would be very expensive to build, right? Because you got all those magnets and all the rails and the things, and it's got 300 pounds is not light. I mean, it's not that heavy compared to a car. But it's not light either, and if you've got lots of them on these rails, they have to be
the whole process
beefy.
works through electromagnetism.
Mm-hmm.
Skytran's aluminum rail levitates with just gravity, magnets, and a short burst of electricity. Once the pod reaches 10 miles an hour, it will continue to glide and accelerate without any additional power in a process called magnetic levitation. The aluminum rail would levitate. Oh wait, that's exactly the same. This is a stupid web page. Whoever did this web page sucks. So basically, there'll be thousands of these little pods that I'm guessing will cost you, based on what it said earlier in this article, about the same amount as a subway token, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. You know what I'm curious about more than anything is not how it gets going; it's how they stop.
Magnetic deceleration, I guess. I don't know. But it's kind of like gondolas. It's kind of like little gondolas that don't have the problems. And maybe we could get these on ski hills. That would be great.
Oh yeah. Well, but then we wouldn't have to sit in the gondola at Silver for hours and hours.
The longest gondola ride in the world.
Well, hey, that was good. I've got to get moving. You've got to get moving. You've got some fall outing, and I've got a birthday to go to.
Woo!
I know. It's a secret. It's a secret.
Oh, well, hopefully they aren't listening.
They're not. They
I can assure you they're not.
No, birthday shout out to Carla.
Hey Carla, happy birthday.
If you catch this if you sit all the way through all of that noise, get to your birthday shout out.
And to my friend Renee too.
Happy birthday, everybody. Well, hey, big thanks. If you're still listening, what's wrong with you? But if you made it this far, let us know what you liked about it. Send us an email. Tell us, talk about something you liked about we talked about something we liked about during the show. Go to iTunes and whatever you're listening on. Rate us 5 stars. We love 5 stars. We'll shout you out on the show. Makes us feel good. Thanks to Libsyn for the bandwidth, all members of the network for their contributions. That was Bill and me and Chris and Fallout. Thanks Bethesda.
And Alan Toussaint.
Thanks to Great Pacific for our theme music, and everyone for tuning in at home and live on Twitch or on YouTube. Send your feedback, suggestions, northwestnerdnetwork@gmail.com.
And go to iTunes and give us 5 stars.
5 stars.
If you've got like 10 seconds of spare time at some point while you're sitting around doing nothing.
Do that.
Go to iTunes, give us a couple stars.
5 of them.
5,
not 2. Not 2. 5.
5, not
5
just
stars.
couple. Otherwise, don't do it at all.
So what are you going to do with your afternoon, Bill?
I've got to make a phone call, and then I should probably eat something at some point.
Cheetos.
Take the dog out.
Cheetos, underpants, beer, Fallout.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds fun.
I'll be thinking of you while you're at, off doing something else.
It's gonna be fun. We're going to a
getting
piano
way
bar.
past where you are in Fallout.
We're going to a piano bar.
Ooh.
I know, it's gonna be cool. I
Going to
gotta
waste.
wear, I have to wear my nice pants. I'm not sure what to do about that. Hey, bud, have a good night. We'll do this again later. Love you.
Love it.
The weight of the apology is stretched us into nothing, spread thin across the cracks. The repair will never last. Her love is held together using duct tape and rubber bands. As far as I can see, almost everybody bleeds. You and I are no exception. All I dare to say is just something in the way. For a change of heart, I desperately pray. Glue and string, cut it down to all its size, mold it like origami. Needle and thread, stitching the patches again. Glue and string, cut it down to all its size, mold it like origami. Stitching the patches again and 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 again.
Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy.
How about that? My call ended. What happened? Hey everybody, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for contributing. We will see you all in a few days. Bye-bye.